Should the Cowboys seriously ride with Garrett Gilbert as their backup quarterback? Do you think they could be looking different at this by the time we get to Friday morning or maybe next week, Saturday morning, after you go out to Arizona and call this game against the Cardinals? Isn't this Gilbert's opportunity to solidify that or possibly lose it?
I'd give you credit. You asked Stephen Jones that question about it, and he says it's a 24/7 job, and then he tells you he's got no money. You know, I mean, if you want to go out and get a legitimate back, we'll see. Like, okay, do you go get Blake Bortles or do you make a trade? But it sounds like to me, guys, he didn't have any cap space to have an expensive second quarterback.
I get it.
He was giving you hey, we got lucky with Andy Dalton, and you really did, because Dalton wanted to be in Texas because of the pandemic, his family, be around his mom, his dad, all those people here in Texas. So you kind of got lucky that way.
But you do have an RG3 on the market. You have a Nick Foles. I can know you can be out of money, but still your need can be big enough and the player can be cheap enough that you say, guys, we can be flexible on this.
No question. But to me, answering your question, it made it sound like to me that he's going to ride with he's going to have one quarterback, and it's going to be a young guy.
Okay, so I guess my question is...
Would I look at a quarterback?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Don't you think Gilbert could be so bad that it requires you to? I mean...
he could be, yeah. He could be.
Absolutely could, yeah. But to me, it's one of those things like they're crossing their fingers that Gilbert's not going to be bad, and maybe it might be a situation where they don't play him. You know, it's like they don't want to see him be bad.
Yeah.
You know, to like bring up...
Hide from it.
That's what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's like, let's throw Cooper Rush out there in the nooch, and they'll mess it up. But how do you evaluate your team when you're throwing the nooch out there and Cooper Rush and those guys?
Yeah,
if you really want to evaluate your team, you're not doing those guys any favor. I'm talking about the other players that are having to deal with that.
469 wants to know, you just had a legitimate backup and he went 4-5 and you stunk, right? But what if they had started 3-1 instead of 1-3? And now that run from Andy Dalton actually puts you in the playoffs, and your starting quarterback isn't out for the year, but now he's coming back. It was a 2-month injury, not a 9-month injury. That's the kind of opportunity you're trying to save yourself a chance to get into the playoffs as a wild card team when maybe you should have been a division champion, maybe even had home field advantage, but things went weird. And now you were without your starting quarterback for a month or two, and that's what I don't think Gilbert can do. I don't think he can save a season's playoff chances if you got to depend on him for 4 to 6 weeks.
There's no question. But the fact of the matter is Stephen Jones doesn't have the money to go get a quarterback. But you're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you.
I reiterate, you're not wrong.
What else should we be looking at here? Do we are Cooper and Lawrence going to be good players without doing any actual football for 9 months? What are you guys' thoughts on that? I'm blown away by it.
I'll tell you what. I worry about Lawrence, and I'll just say it again. I worry about an early season game in Tampa, Florida, heat and humidity. I do worry about that. I worry about conditioning. Now, can these guys get some work? Can they get back and get enough work to where you don't have to worry about their football shape? You know, the last thing you want to do is Amari Cooper out there running around and then, by the way, he hadn't done anything except rehab, and now you got this soft tissue injury and he's not playing the next 4 weeks.
Yeah.
That's my biggest fear.
Okay, 817 coming in here. What's wrong with Gilbert? He's good. You know, I get it. He was Gatorade State Player of the Year in high school. He made some positive impressions at SMU. He went to UT when they didn't have a quarterback and didn't make it. Okay, then he had a shot at an NFL career with multiple teams, didn't make it. I think Gilbert played half decently last year in the one opportunity, but the way that he played would not have won a starting job. It would be borderline like, should this guy be our backup? And then you take that one game, that's not the entire body of work. He has a 7 or 8 year history trying to make it at the D1 level and the NFL level and hasn't been able to pull that off. But from what we saw last year, you know, I was surprised he had such positive body language. You know, I'm like, how could you have put together such a crappy quarterback resume and be so free and easy and cocky while you're in the pocket during an NFL game while you're losing? I'll give it up to him. It's hard to have that kind of body language and confidence when you don't have the experience of success. But he's got that part, the poise. Yeah. It all looks like an NFL quarterback.
They only gave him one start too. You know, that can maybe tell you a little bit what they thought about him as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's before Dalton got back, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If if it was one of those things, maybe it was like, well, he's better than Dalton. Let's just go ahead and ride with this. I mean that could have been their thought. That could have been like they could have said, well, hey, man, that wasn't bad. Let's keep going here. Let's see what we got. You know what you got. You know what you got with Andy Dalton, right?
Right, but that's what he was there for. Right. It was for that exact scenario. Yeah. That's why you had Andy Dalton.
Yeah. It would have been. But this team also started the nooch in a game on a Sunday night in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that was good.
The quarterback evaluation period might not be great all the time.
All righty. It is the GBag Nation here on 105.3 The Fan. You got some great text coming in here. We need to trade for Minshew out of the 817.
Let's go. See, now we're cooking. Now we got ideas.
530. Our offensive line was in shambles when Garrett played his one game, too. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was one touchdown and one pick around, 200 yards or something. I think he completed around
31.
55.
It was 21 of 36 or 7, something like that. Quarterback rating of 67% or something.
I mean, that's the kind of completion percentage that if you post it for the year, they'll be like, wow, we got to figure something else out, guys.
If you're the Eagles, you'll be really excited about your starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Either way.
We don't need to take a quarterback. We just need to get him a wide receiver.
Yeah.